Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk. I'm your optimistic host Gav. Joining me today is pessimistic Stephen.
Hello.
And glass half empty Stuart. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
So in case you didn't listen to the podcast on Thursday, it turns out that I'm really smart and I know everything, and these guys are too pessimistic. But we'll get back to the Celtic game in a second. We've got a couple of bits of news to go through, and we're also going to do, I think, first and last, talking about our first Hibs game and the last game we've beaten that hasn't been a Hibs game, and we've also got your guys' questions as well. But we're going to start on some positive news today. Martin Boyle has been on Twitter, and I'm probably going to butcher this name here. Huge, or I don't know how you pronounce that at all. EUGE. Don't know. Huge Taylor has asked, when ye fit, mate? And Martin Boyle replied, should be good to go after the international break. Muscle emoji, thumbs up emoji. So, Stuart, starting with yourself. Great news that Boyle could be back soon.
Yeah, brilliant. I just hope that he doesn't come back too early, just like the last time. But if he's ready, fantastic, because we need a bit of pace up top to help out another like Doige or Canberry. Mm-hmm. So we're really looking forward to him coming back.
And Stephen, when we first heard about this weekend, I spoke about the potential impact on his career that this injury could have, because it was the same one. But if he's getting back this quickly, hopefully this is a good sign that it's not going to have that big an impact on his career.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the biggest concern, obviously, was the fact that when he had injured the same knee again, there was always the problem that he wasn't going to have the same pace that he had before. But coming back this quick, it's obviously showing more positive signs, so fingers crossed, like Stuart says, that he's not coming back too early, but still has the same sort of impact that he had before he was injured.
And just quickly, in terms of selection, obviously it's a nice problem to have, but Malin we've kind of criticised Allen in the middle a wee bit, a lot of folk have, but it looks like he's offering a bit more out wide, and it looks like Vela, Hallberg and Allen are our strongest midfield three. So how do we kind of set up once Boyle's back? Does Malin still play, or we've also got Horgan and Middleton as well? Stuart, start with yourself.
Well, it just goes on. You never know. Somebody else might get injured. Somebody might be suspended. That's why you've got a squad. Malin started against Celtic. I thought he played really well. And you've got to remember you're playing against one of the top teams, or the top team in Scotland. So no, I think he played well, and we've got now. We've got players coming back. The managers maybe got a headache, which, yes, it's good.
Stephen, quick thoughts on that?
No, I agree with Stuart. I think obviously the fact that Boyle can play both wings as well still gives Malin a chance to play out wide. Obviously, he started off as a winger at St Mirren, so him, Middleton, Horgan, Boyle all giving manager a headache. Can't complain with that.
And next bit of news we've got, obviously just quickly say again, brilliant to hear Boyle's doing so great and can't wait to see him back. But another bit of news, somebody kind of leaving the club is George Craig, retiring at the end of December, so the end of the year. 5 years at the club as the head of football operations. Stuart, your initial thoughts on this?
Quite sad. Reason being, I've met George a few times through different things down at East Mains with my son. Had a few meetings with him, and he brought a hang of a lot from Falkirk. So, I'm really surprised. I don't know his age. Must be, say, maybe 60. I don't know, late 50s, 60. I'm really surprised. He's still travelling from Falkirk every day, so maybe that's the problem, because East Mains, it is quite a fair distance. But is it the goings on? With the changes, the structural changes in Hibs, and is he thinking, well, something's not right? I don't know. I'm really surprised, I really am.
I think the fact he's retiring maybe kind of thinks it's more of a personal decision rather than a Hibs thing. Like, surely, unless he decided this was always going to be his last job, I don't know. But Stephen, Graham Matthew has been, BBC are reporting anyway that Graham Matthew's been eyed for the role. Do you think that'd be a good move for Hibs?
That'd be a good move for him. He's obviously been involved with the club for a wee bit of time now as well, obviously through the transitioning period, so fair play to him if he gets a job. I think obviously you've got to look at other targets as well, because I think there could probably be better out there, because George Craig will be a hard man to replace, but we'll leave that to Hibs, won't we?
Aye, and it was interesting. I'm sure. I'm sure Graham Matthew was recently mentioned for the same role at Kilmarnock. So it's obviously people obviously see something in him for that kind of role. So we'll see what happens with that. So let's get on the Celtic game now. So you guys were. So let's go back to this. I'm sure Stuart, you went. Hibs might score, but Celtic will score at least 4 or 5.
Yep.
And Stephen, you said we were going to eclipse the Ibrox game and get beat more than 6-1. And I went 1-1, and I'm really smart, and I was right. So before we give me more opportunities to boast and let my ego get any bigger, Pat Stanton, a lot of praise for him before the game. Stuart, I mean, quickly your thoughts on Stanton, favourite memory of Stanton?
Well, I'm older than you guys. I'm 53, and I used to get. Well, my dad used to take me to all the games. From probably 5-year-old, it's difficult to remember a lot of games to standing out because of Pat playing, but watching that team away back in the 70s, 72 when they won the League Cup, Pat was immense. And one game it stands out was I was telling you earlier on, Gav, the Hibs Leeds game, 73. I'm going there when I was 7-year-old, all the way in a bus with my brother from Gilmerton to Leith. God knows how I got there. My mum must have just said, "There's about 50 pence or something. There you go, son, away to the game." And met my dad because he was working, and Pat Stanton hit the post. If he scored and we won in penalties, where would we have went in the there was a UEFA Cup then. But Pat Stanton, he's a genuine man. Love him, and he's a Mr. Hibs for me.
Aye. And Stephen, you and me were lucky enough. Obviously, we got tickets for the evening with Pat Stanton. Just quick thoughts on that night.
Yeah, I mean, it was the one thing that stood out for me was the comment from Ian Murray about the fact that how he's not involved in the club, in some sort of advocate role or anything like that. And it's just amazing to me how it takes something like his 75th birthday for all this to start coming out from Hibs and him getting more involved in the club. Because, I mean, like Stuart says, I mean, he is basically Mr. Hibs, especially in our era. For the new generation coming through, the person that they all get told about is Pat Stanton. And yeah, I mean, it was good to see him involved on the pitch on Saturday and stuff, but it's just been a long time coming for me, I think.
I mean, I met him at the open day. He was there with HSL, and just an absolute gentleman. Dave, who was also at the open day with us, and he was like, "Oh, that's my papa's favourite ever player. I need to get a photo with him."
Am I his papa?
And he couldn't have been nicer. He was an absolute gent, just great guy, and great to see him getting all this.
You know what else was, and I mentioned it, I don't know if you remember, at the game against Celtic, and he laid out the teams, and it was quite appropriate because he played for Celtic as well. But he laid out with Paul Hanlon, the captain, number 4.
Yeah.
And that's why Paul Hanlon.
Nice.
See, Paul Hanlon's got number 4 because I know his dad, and his dad's Pat Stanton mad as well.
Right.
And he's told Paul when he first got a chance of the squad number, get 4, son. Because my laddie, I told him when he was always playing, get 4. That's the number you want. Weird, And as I say, I know his dad.
Brilliant stuff. So on to the game then. We've got a new thing we're trying positives, things that are meh, and some negatives. So we'll start with the positives. Deutsch, great ball from Allen. Deutsch threw on goal, and it goes in. One way to put it.
Well, he says to me, you turned round to me and said that you were smart and everything just 2 seconds ago, right? But I was writing the button that says we might score. We might have scored. It was an OG. Hey, where was our goal? It was a cross across the box, and it went in. I'm glad for the lad. Don't get me wrong. I'm only having a laughing jest.
It's went down as an eye on goal, and I mean, Stephen, do you think if he's got a bit more confidence and he's had a few more goals this season, he's hitting that maybe across the keeper or tries to beat the keeper in near post instead of squaring it?
Yeah, hits that across the keeper and out for a throw in. Nah, I think it's a confidence thing. He's still not scored a league goal for her. That's a fact. I mean, his only goals have came against teams like Alloa and Arbroath and stuff. So I mean,
But you've got to play to get chances to score.
To be fair, he's just ran out 2 hours against Kilmarnock on Wednesday in a cup game, couldn't score, and then he's just went 90 minutes against Celtic and not scored.
It's hard to score against Celtic.
It's hard to score when you're
come on, we're on the positives bit, Stephen.
Are we? Sorry.
Some more positives. Hallberg kind of played, to me, I mean, I don't think it's his best position and what he's best suited to, but it seems that Hallberg has kind of taken on the responsibility of the Milligan-Bartley role we've kind of been talking about, and he's going to play that until we sign somebody else that's more suited to it. Stuart, what was your thoughts on Hallberg's sort of disciplined performance in front of that back four?
I like the lad, and if we can get 50% off anything in his video, and I know most videos that you see of players when you sign them, you go, here we go, you know, it's the best clips within 5 minutes video, and you're only getting wee snippets. But if he can give anything like that and running late into the box, he's a strong lad. He's only done, well, he never done any pre-season training.
No.
He's never done any pre-season training.
Not played since like March or something.
Aye. So and now he's had, was it 3 games in 6 days? Is that right? So
yeah.
So he's actually the lad is fit.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased, and I checked it because, you know, when you're watching the game you forget the minutes that he got substituted, but it was the 89th minute. So it was a full game. And he was
most minutes he's played so far.
And he was following a lot of runs with Forrest and all that. So I've got to say that is one of a big positive is Hallberg.
And Stephen, is that Vela's best performance in a Hibs jersey so far?
He started looking his size for once. He was a bit more composed in the middle, which makes a big difference. But I think it was. Oh no, I'm just got to start drifting into negatives. It was I think it was a big game performance, and he's got to perform like that against the weird teams. But no, it was outstanding. It was his best performance in a Hibs jersey.
Some more positives. James got man of the match. I thought Allen was brilliant. You know, that ball for a goal, although it wasn't an assist. But and just overall, just brilliant. I thought from Allen. There's a couple of times where he kind of held up the ball. He rolled Scott Brown a few times. It was brilliant to see. Yep. Really good performance from Scott Allen. But and I mean, we're going to come back to Jackson getting injured in a second, but he goes off and you think, oh, maybe he'll put on. I mean, I didn't even care what the bench was, but maybe he'll put on Naismith or something like that, and maybe James will go to the centre or Naismith will go to the centre, and Steve Whittaker comes on and goes on to the centre, and I'm not going to lie, I panicked a bit.
But what did I say on Thursday?
You said I called it centre back in a back three, but it turns out you can play in a back two.
Aye. Well, I'm telling you now, Whitty has not got the pace, and he was never a right back. And if he ever listens to this, I'm sorry about that. I'm not slagging you. You've made a living out of it, but you've never been a right back because you've never had the pace. It's the same as Alan Hutton. They've never had the pace to be right backs. I've never rated they two.
They've for done Scotland right in their career.
Yes, of course they have. That's what I'm saying. But Whittaker, I like him in a sort of centre defensive role because he's quite a tall lad. He's actually good in the air, and he didn't give any of the Celtic players, and that's a hard thing to come onto a game in half an hour. Half hour into a game and you're cold, and that game's really on buzzing, and you've got to come in and catch up. I thought he was outside. He got the man of the match.
What
for BT?
For BT, right?
Yeah, he got the man of the match.
Probably deserved it. Played really well. So some mess now. It's the best thing I can come up for this meh.
Right, meh.
Jackson obviously getting injured. Some people kind of criticising Stevenson's performance and kind of saying we need to look at that long term. I mean, are people needing to calm down a bit, Stephen, with Stevenson criticism?
I don't think we need to calm down with the criticism. I think he's warranted the criticism recently, but I think obviously it goes back to the fact that he never played a pre-season, and then he's pretty much been chucked into the squad and playing 90 minutes every game. I mean, you've got to take some of the blame off him for that. But it's his performances really haven't been up to scratch, and I think now at this point he's turned 30. Like we do need to start looking at other players to fill in his position.
Stephen, I know you're on the phone now. You're not sitting beside me. But what do you think of this? There's Stevenson is, he has been missing his pre-season playing, and he has been getting tired near the end of the games because he's never done his pre-season. And I'm going back, and I keep on mentioning this. We've got a young left back who loves to get up and down. He's got an engine. He's got a great left peg, putting the ball across, and he's never kicked a ball since Ibrox. And Sean Mackey.
This is where it goes to the blame gets put on Hecky. Why would you send out our second choice left back on loan when you've not got another replacement?
Correct, and I cannot get this in my mind.
But a lot of people were saying, this wasn't just on the podcast. I heard this, I seen this on the forums, and I heard people say this at the friendlies and stuff that was at. That it seemed that Mackie still doesn't have it defensively, and in the cup games as well. And so if he's still got to work on the defensive aspect of his game, surely then we're better getting him going playing football somewhere else.
Actually, wee question: Stevenson, did he go out in loan? No, he never.
But I think there's a difference between Stevenson and Mackie. I'm not expecting Mackie to be as good as Stevenson. Stevenson's one of the best left backs we've had in the last 30 years.
You've also got to remember though that Stevenson started off as a centre mid.
Yeah.
And has that maybe not been something that's been really good for his development playing there?
Well,
and Mackie has done well in centre mid.
Yeah, well, Stevenson never got put on loan, and that's not just because he was a fantastic player, because there's a lot of guys that didn't like the guy. I'm telling you now, we never had another left back, so we just played him. But we've got a choice of two left backs, and I keep on reiterating about if Stephen gets injured midway through a game, what do? We have to swap, and I don't like right backs to left back. I never like that, and this is why I said Whittaker would have to go there, because Whittaker can play a left back role.
So can Tom James though, and he played the majority of last season at Yeovil, either at left back or in midfield. He hardly played any games at right back last season.
Right, and then a right back
so
ski with again. You know what I mean? And that's
or Naismith will probably come back.
Aye, but I just feel that, and what Stephen's saying the other now, the manager has got to look at that. Why can he play all these games leading up to when he got sent off, and then because he makes a bad decision, the lad, if he was brought back in and still played now and again, but he's never kicked a ball for Hibs, and will he ever?
I think he will, and to me it's more beneficial to go out and play 30 odd games starts for Dundee than play 4 cup games for Hibs.
But
so on what you're saying then, Gav, why is Ollie Shaw not out on loan?
We tried to get him out on loan, but we couldn't identify a replacement. That's why
get a replacement, because we never got a replacement for Mackie.
But we've got 4 fullbacks at the club at the moment.
We only got fullbacks in after Mackie had left, and
we've got Naismith in, we've got Whittaker, we've got James, we've got Stevenson, we've got Gray. That's 5 fullbacks.
Naismith's never played left back in his life.
But that means that James can go over. Anyway, we're not going to. We could go on about the squad depth in ages, but I think it was a budget thing. If we were going to get let Shaw go, we'd have to bring in somebody on the same money, and there wasn't anybody out there that was going to be better than Shaw.
Just bring Jamie Gutlin up to the first team then, because he's a better performer than Ollie Shaw.
I think that's a bit harsh, but anyway, we've talked about Ollie Shaw enough on the last podcast, so let's move on. Go through the negatives now. The main negative we'll have to talk about is referee, and I guess the fourth official as well and stuff. I mean, we'll get on to the referee in more specifics in a second, but let's start with Celtic's goal. Forrest goes down after, to me, Tom James wins the ball, and referee says play on, and Vela gets the ball, plays it out to Malin, and then it gets pulled back because Forrest is still down. Hibs players think, alright, he's pulled it back because Forrest is down and because of injury. It turns out that the fourth official told the referee, no, it was a free kick, give the free kick. Hibs didn't realise this, and Celtic then played the free kick and,
Gav, I've got a problem with this because I was led to believe the fourth official is there to, one, bring the substitutions on and make sure that everything's all right within the two managers in their boxes. Not to start telling the referee, oh, that's a foul, you missed that. I can see something if there was I was going to say a punch off the ball. But Cham done it and he never seen that. The ref didn't see it, it was a step away from him. So these fourth officials, I'd like to know where that guy comes from, and that's not being sour, being a Hibby because we lost a goal. I'd like to see where he comes from and what team he supports, because that guy has got to be looked at. He should not be telling that referee, because the referee made his decision.
Should the referee have listened to him?
He should know, because it's not VAR down south that only if the referee makes a mistake the VAR can overrule. This fourth official has overruled the referee. So how can the fourth official just go, that's a foul, and tell him on his walkie-talkie? That's not right.
Stephen, I mean, we're going to come back to the referee in a bit more in a second, but in terms of Hibs from point of view, should Hibs have been more switched on even though they were expecting it to be like a drop ball?
Yeah, 100%. You play to the whistle, and if someone gets pulled back, you always make sure that you're still up the park, especially defensively organised. Like you can't just expect it to be a throw, and you've got to wait and see what the call is. If Hibs held back and then stayed in position, then they could have maybe been a wee bit more organised, and the free kick would have actually been held up until Hibs were more organised. Because Celtic weren't in a position to take a quick free kick. It's just because it was an absolute shambles at the point where the ball was stopped.
I think there was a few Hibs players that were didn't really expect Celtic to be pinging it across the field to I think it was Forrest who played it across to, and then Forrest played it in the box.
Another thing as well, Steve, I think there was a lot of commotion going on at the side of the pitch with Heckenbottom.
Yeah, which is probably a distraction for the players.
He actually went to the linesman or the fourth official before he got sent off, before the bottle got kicked, because there was not any goal scored then, but he was not happy. He was pointing the finger the first time, saying, how's that a foul, how's that, and what, you've called that. And I think the Hibs players were looking over because there was a bit of commotion, and that's why the back four were like looking over and saying, what's going on? And then Celtic just decided, like they always do, we're going to take this free kick.
But to be fair though, at that point Celtic were entitled to take a free kick. If what you're saying is true, then obviously that's down to Hecky then for making that much. I don't think you can have a go at Hecky.
I think you're looking for things to shout at Hecky about. if he's in right to be entitled. He's entitled to be annoyed about the decision. In my opinion, anyway.
But that shouldn't be affecting the players then.
Yeah, I think you've got to put that in the players. But anyway, Hecky got sent off and had to watch the rest of the game from the stand. And I mean, Stephen, there's been a lot of people kind of saying this is good to finally at least see some passion and fight from Hecky. Could there be a silver lining to this?
Yeah, the silver lining is in the stand.
In terms of the fan perception of Hecky,
I reckon, right, honestly, it doesn't matter because he done it when he says that he's got to punch a linesman's teeth out.
But that was 6 months ago.
He makes these comments, but it doesn't bring anything to the team. The fact is that he's now, when he wasn't in the changing room at half time, Hibs players still came out fired up. I reckon that if we went in, then they would have went soft again. He would be like, "Oh, good work, keep up the good work. We'll get this draw because that's what he's playing for. We'll get this draw, and then that'll be it."
Hecky was still in touch with the team via walkie-talkie and stuff.
I don't think he was in touch with the team.
No, he was.
We've seen the things about the walkie-talkie. He wasn't in the changing room for the half-time team talk, but he was still in talk with the team and in touch with. I don't know who it was he was speaking to.
He was in touch with the coaching staff. He wasn't in touch with the team though. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't speaking to the team at half-time.
I think you're looking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too pro Hecky.
Steve. Hecky out. I
don't know. I think we've got a positive result. I think you're kind of looking for things for Hecky now. But anyway, it's just my opinion. Then Cham red card. Let's kind of talk about that now. I mean, Vela, I mean, when I first saw it, I was a bit surprised Vela got booked, but seeing it back, Vela does push him, and it's soft, but surely it is a booking because he does push him.
But he never raised his hands.
He pushed him in the chest slightly. It was a very, very soft push.
Come on, Gav.
The thing is with that, it's in the UEFA rule book that anybody who lifts a hand to another player, whether like if he threw a punch and it missed a player, he would still get a red card.
Yeah,
like it was a red card, and the fact that Lennon came out after the game, fact that Lennon came out after the game and says, "Oh, it's possibly a red card." How many times when Lennon was in charge of us did he turn around and say, "Oh, our player deserved to get sent off"?
Steve, in Cham, what he done now, I hope the SFA look at this and give him a 2-match ban for what he done.
Yeah, that's what I've just said. He deserved a red card.
Yeah, but I hope the SFA look at it retrospectively, because in a tackle, they do it with tackles on the park. Now, if the referee sort of said it was maybe, well, if they'd give him a booking, they can't do anything.
That's can maybe now in Scotland.
Right, they can. Right,
it's in England, they still can't.
Right, so the referee ballsed it up, so he should actually get demoted, Clancy, because I had playing away Eastie Senior years and years ago, and the linesman who I knew, who used to referee a lot of our games, he was a grade 1. He missed a Rangers Celtic, somebody given an elbow, and he missed it, and he got demoted because he missed that opportunity to get somebody sent off, right, which they should have. Now, that referee was a step away from that in Cham, what he done, and he walked by in Cham and gave him a little handoff and went right for Vela. Why did he go to Vela? He should have went to in Cham. I don't understand that, and I think the SFA should be getting Clancy. I think you should be giving him a wee ban for a few games.
They've done it before, though. They've done it a few times last season where referees were demoted to the championship and that for bad performances. And there was a few times last season where players were retrospectively red carded, because it happened to Morelos a couple of times.
Yeah.
And there was an Aberdeen, was it Scott McKenna or something?
Yeah,
he ended
McKenna.
up with a retrospective two-match ban as well. So it will definitely happen.
It should.
If there's any sense, but whether or not, obviously Celtic run the league.
Well, of course,
it's Celtic we're talking about. There's
Gav,
not going to be any respective action.
It's up to Petrie. Petrie's at the SFA.
But I don't know if he's on the panel that decide those sort of things.
Well, he could maybe send an email to them, no?
One Petrie we trust. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the Celtic game. Just any other sort of things coming away from the game then that you kind of wanted to discuss?
Well, you're always looking for it, because me and Steve are always like, what's going on here. But yeah, I can say that we did well. We fought every inch of that park. We fought Celtic.
A lot of passion in the back.
Of course there was. But what really pisses me off, it takes Celtic, Rangers, Hearts to have a bit of passion.
But
what
we've
about
been
your
talking,
St Johnstone's?
We've been talking about under Heck and Bottom, like we've done well against the smaller teams, but we're yet to do it against the big teams. And we had awful performance against Rangers. So here's a performance where we've put in a good performance against Celtic. We've never done it against the small teams. Well, we went 10 games unbeaten, and they were all
that was away last year. That was because he came in under Lennon's blooming team.
Anyway, we've disagreed on this last week. Stephen, any other things you want to talk about for the Celtic game?
Yeah, 93 minutes.
Well, I had that written down, but I decided to go past it, but fair enough. Okay, I had game management written down. To me, I understood what Hibs were trying to do. They had a free kick, we're not going to get a winner against Celtic that late on. They've tried to play it into the corner and see it out. But Stephen, you felt we should have went for the win. Go for it.
100% you go for the win. If you're at home against any team, especially Celtic, when you've got a chance, whether it's a small chance or a big chance, you go for it.
A free kick in our own half.
If we put, it wasn't in our own half.
It was in theirs.
It was 10 yards into their half. And if we had hit it into the box, then there could have been a scramble or anything. Anybody, Deutsch was still getting up in the air. He could have headed it down to anybody that was up the park, because there was 8 players up near the goal, within 20 yards of the goal.
Yeah, you're correct.
If he knocked it into the box, and then anybody had got on at the end of that, and we managed to get a winner, then that would have made me proud.
But Stephen,
if we hit it to the corner, and then 2 minutes later, well, not even 2 minutes later, 20 seconds later, they've got a corner from it. How does that happen?
It didn't work, but we were trying to play it into the corner to see it out. If we'd played it into the box and the keeper came out and caught
Foster.
it. Foster, that's it. I was about to say Forrest. Foster came out and caught it.
That'd have been a penalty if Forrest caught it.
And he'd lumped it down the pitch because he's got a good distribution, that keeper. They'd hit us in the counter attack and they'd scored. You'd be on this podcast this week going, that's poor game management from Hibs. They should have seen it out.
But Gav,
because it was the 93rd minute against Celtic, Gav. The fact is, if Foster caught the ball and then punted it up the park, more of their players were in their box.
Stephen, they were all defending. They never had anybody there.
Exactly. So what's the odds of them Foster kicking the ball up and then them scoring?
Listen,
it was because Celtic caught the ball in their own corner, punted it up the park, and then they've got a corner 20 seconds later, Gav. You can't justify that.
Their three subs that were still forward were Hayes, Bio and Sinclair. They're three fast players that I don't want hitting me on the counter-attack. And like you say, they managed to hit something on the counter-attack anyway and won a corner. So it's we're kind of going around in circles. Yeah. No Canberry. He was set to come on for the last few minutes, really just to take a penalty against Kilmarnock, but then there was a red card, and then he's sat on the bench this week. So that's Doidge played
180 minutes.
180 minutes.
No, 210 minutes. 210 minutes.
210 minutes. You're better at maths. 210 minutes in 4 days. Why is Flo not getting on to try and run at them for the last 20 minutes?
God knows. We were screaming at it.
Mm-hmm. Stephen, quickly on it.
There's no justifying it.
It's a strange one indeed. But anyway, so my question now, the main question for the podcast, I guess, is: has Hecky showed signs of turning things around?
No.
Stuart, come on, be a bit more positive. Come on.
Well, it's very difficult, Gav, to say yes. The reason being, that team raised their game for a big match, and it was just like what Flo Canberry done when he was getting touted with the other team, and there was guys scouting him in the West Stand, right? Why get like that for one game? I get because it's Celtic. We all know you've got to try harder because they're a very good side. They done brilliant, and I'm being positive for the game. But why can we not be like that every game? They should be really embarrassed for doing what they've done, and they never done that against St Mirren. They never done that against Morton.
But they done it against Kilmarnock for me.
I wasn't at the game, so I can't.
I think they've done it against Kilmarnock. They've done it the day. It's maybe crap that it's taken a Derby defeat to kind of really spur them on, but you can only judge them on the last two games. And to me, since the Derby defeat, it's maybe been the kick up the arse they need, and it's been a lot more positive.
But Gav, I've already said this to you, is the fact that I've praised the players, like both the Kilmarnock and the Celtic game. I came away from the Kilmarnock game happy in the fact that we had won it, and the fact that they saw it out for 120 minutes. But the fact is that Kilmarnock were there for the beating in 90 minutes, and I've already justified my reasoning for not thinking that Hecky's done a U-turn. I says that the players have got up for a cup game and a game against Celtic. Aberdeen have now lost the last two games 5-0 against Rangers, and have been knocked out a cup quarter-final against Hearts in penalties. If we go up to Aberdeen and don't get a result, or we go up there and get humped 3-0, there's no excuse for turning and saying, but Aberdeen are a top three club. You can't say that because we've just raised our game against Celtic, so why wouldn't we raise our game against Aberdeen? So I really hope that we get a win against Aberdeen, and I think that we've got the capacity to do so. And if we do that, then I think maybe there is a turnaround in the players. But the fact is, though, that if we go up to Aberdeen and then get beat, then it's just for nothing. If we win, let me get this straight. If we win, the players have turned things around. But if we get beat, it's Hecky's fault. I never said it's just Hecky's fault, Gav. But Hecky's a manager. That's what he gets paid for, to motivate players, to pick the right team, and to get players teed up for a game. That's what his job is.
Well,
so you can only put so much onus on the players, which I've says that the players have been shite all season. The players are just as much at fault as Hecky, but the fact that Hecky's the one that's picking a team, he's not picked Canberra for 2 games. He's had Deutsch play 120 minutes on a Wednesday, and then Canberra sat on the bench for 90 minutes on a Saturday against Celtic. That's Hecky's decision. That's not the players. The players can't choose themselves to play.
Well, I mean, it just seems like it's sort of, I don't know, to me it seems a bit moving the goalposts, because before it was Hecky, the fact that Hecky had made these sign-ins, and now the fact that Deutsch is getting a lot of praise, and James got man of the match, and now it's other things to do with
when did
Hecky.
they get man of the match? When did Deutsch get man of the match?
No, James got man of the match, I said. And
I've
Deutsch
said,
just had a lot of praise online.
I've said from the start of the season that James has been the best signing that we've had. Him and Jackson.
And then Hallberg were praising, Vela were praising, so all the new signings are starting to do well now. Now that they've had time to settle in.
Well, I think they have started playing a wee bit better, but it's taken them a hang for a long time, and I don't know why. But anyway,
we're 7 games into the season. There's still 31 games to go. We've got loads of time.
Right.
We're 3 points off 6th place. I think we're getting
No, I'm not getting carried away. I'm just saying that yes, I was happy. I'm positive about after the Celtic game. Great. Now, Steve's saying about Aberdeen. Now I'm thinking, I heard Aberdeen gaffer, and I don't know if you've seen that he was saying after the game at Ibrox that they've got about 6 players out. They've got a young midfield. That's why they lost all these goals at Ibrox, and he's dejected. Now that whole team's down. If we don't go up there and get at least a draw, I'll be annoyed, because that's when you say you can play against somebody like Celtic one game, and then the next game you do this. So they've raised the bar, Gav. Hibs players have raised the bar, and they better keep it up there, because then there'll be a problem again. And it's not down to, fully down to Hecky. It's the bloody players. They should be saying, you know what we've done? We're going up there and beating him.
But looking at our opponents, is it not? I mean, I know it's. I mean, to me, Aberdeen are always rubbish against Rangers, but they're a better team at Pittodrie. And you're talking about the last 2 games. The cup game was at Tynecastle, and the Rangers game was at Ibrox. So surely there's something we've got to take in consideration, that they are a better team at home.
But their fans are against the manager now. You know what Aberdeen fans are like? They're fickle. They never turn up. For that size city, they'll probably only have... They're like Hibs. The Hibs fans stay away. And Aberdeen fans will stay away when this has happened. Just lost 5 and they got put out for Hearts, because they thought they were coming down to Edinburgh to win. So I think we go up there, and we should be going up in that bus, getting off, hammering them, and get back. That's what I'd be saying to them. And that's down to the manager, what Steve's saying. He should be saying to them, listen, we've got the beating of this mob. And that's down to management. See what you done on Saturday. Do it again this Saturday. Because I tell you, if you play like that, and they play how they played against Rangers, we'll take 3 and 4 off of them.
Okay, so just to finish up with Aberdeen game, what's our score predictions for the Aberdeen game?
2-1 Hibs.
Stephen?
2-0 Hibs.
Brilliant, aye.
Hey!
Positivity's back, right? I'm going to go for 2-0 Hibs as well. Why no? Come on, Hibs. Right, and then we've got the international break after that, so let's go into that with a bit of bounce, a bit of swagger. Right, okay, so we're quickly going to do first and last. Stephen, I've not prepped you for this, so I'll let you go second, so I'll let me describe it first. So we're going to do, going to quickly talk about our first game, and then also going to talk about our last game that was not a Hibs game. So I know it's a bit of a complicated, because if the thing is, if we went first and last with Hibs, then everyone would just say Celtic yesterday. So we'll go our first game that was whatever it was, and then our last game that wasn't Hibs related. So Stuart, starting with yourself, can you remember your first game?
No, because it was about 48 years ago, when I was about 5-year-old. And as I touched on about the Hibs Leeds game in '73, I can remember that 7-year-old. But there was other games. My dad used to take me to all the games. I used to get a lift over the turnstiles, and we used to stay. We used to watch the game in the East, the old East, on the second tier. And for the older guys that are listening in, we used to be on the 18-yard line going down the hill, but on the second tier, which there used to be a big barrier, a red barrier for some reason, and we used to sit there, or stand there, sorry, and watch a game. And I've seen, one of probably the best teams that were in the 70s that won the 72, the League Cup, etc. Brilliant games. And so that was one of the games. I can't remember, it was that long time ago. And my last, believe it or not, my son-in-law plays for Morton, and I went to see Motherwell Morton when Motherwell thrashed them in the league, that wee cup thing, whatever it was.
The group stages of the League Cup?
Yeah, I think it was, aye. So I was at that game. That was my last game, Motherwell Morton. So not a lot to write home, because I've been to hundreds of cracking games abroad, but aye, my last one's Motherwell Morton.
What about yourself, Stephen? What was your first game, or what can you remember at least of being your first game?
First non-Hibs game that I can remember was the Brazil game at the '98 World Cup. I went over for that, so I went and saw the A3 games. That was Collins' penalty, Tom Boyd OG. Good one to remember. Last one.
You been to many games that weren't Hibs related recently? No?
No, not really. I only got to Scotland games.
Were you not a Scotland under 21 game recently?
I went to the Scotland-England under 21s game. I got beat 4-0. That was great.
Where was that played about?
That was at Tiny.
You're a right bogey, by the way. I think you should keep away from the Scotland games.
I know. To be fair though, like McGinn's done alright. I don't know. Nah, just mainly Scotland games. I went to a Dortmund game last season, but that was about it.
Who were they playing? Got to talk about that one. Why not? Quickly talk about the Dortmund game.
Frankfurt, I think it was.
Right.
Frankfurt.
What was that, a 0-0 draw?
No, 1-0, I'm sure it was. 1-0.
Frankfurt would have had a good team then, because they would have had that Haller that's at West Ham now, and Jovic that's at Real Madrid, so good forward line, that team.
They did actually. They made the Europa League. They've done alright in Europe the last couple of seasons.
Aye.
But no, that's about it. My football knowledge is mainly just Hibs.
My first game was Hibs Middlesbrough. I've talked about this in the podcast before, so I'll quickly go through it, no bore folk, but it was Hibs Middlesbrough. It was a friendly, and I don't remember that, I was about 5-year-old, but my dad tells me that a few weeks later Middlesbrough were on the telly, and I came running through the kitchen looking for my dad, going, Daddy, Hibs Friends are on the telly.
Hibs Friends.
And apparently my dad had shown me clips, and I kept on asking when we were going to get our penalty, because we'd got a penalty on the highlights that he showed me, and I kept on talking about, Daddy, when can we go for Harry Ramsden's, was the whole thing, because remember that Harry Ramsden's that used to be in Leith? I just thought, that was a brilliant Harry Ramsden. So yeah, I was more focused on that than the actual game, but yeah, we went after there afterwards. That was I'm sure it was a lovely time. I can't remember it. And the last one, which I mean, again, I spoke about in the podcast a few months ago, was I was at the Liverpool-Napoli game. I was in the Napoli end. I'm a big Napoli man. And it was brilliant. Napoli won 3-0. There was about 300 of us and 56,000 Liverpool fans. It was brilliant.
Sounds good.
Looking to the left, and there's a 7-year-old that's just, he's got his hat on, he's got his scarf, he's got his cheeks face painted, and he looked miserable. And I was like, yes, my day's brilliant and your day's no. Anyway, right, okay, so we always ask for questions of you guys, and I feel bad that we're kind of a lot of times run out of time and stuff, and so I'm going to make a conscious effort to make the questions a bigger part of the show. So working title. What I've got written down here is Media Minute, but that might need worked on.
Right.
But basically, we'll take one of the best questions from Facebook, one of the best from Twitter, and one of the best from Instagram, and we'll do 60 seconds on the clock to talk about it, and then we'll do quick fire for the other questions, and then that's going to be us finishing up there for the day. So the first, I'll just get the timer on this clock. Okay, so the first question we've got is from Facebook, and it's from Dave Thompson, who was actually on the podcast on the phone-in recently. He has asked, can we take the same intensity into matches against so-called lesser teams? Now, you've already touched on this, but that's his question, so you've got a minute to talk about it between the two of yous, and go. Stuart, start with yourself.
Hope so. That's it. I hope so. And it's what Steve's going to say next. I know what he's going to say. It's down to the manager to get that through to them to play that intensity. There you go, Steve.
Stephen?
Yeah, exact same as what Stuart's just said for me. It's all down to the manager. He's got a good result against Celtic. He needs to pick up from that and make sure that the players understand how important that is. Kilmarnock game was a kick up the backside, got us to a semi-final, and it's now going up for there. You've got to get up the league, otherwise the cup means nothing really.
Why do you think we've not seen that intensity in the games so far?
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it could be down to the players adapting to new surroundings. It could be down to the manager not managing his team properly. Obviously, you were saying the game before the Kilmarnock game, the derby, there was five new
time up. That's it. Time up.
Fuck you, guys.
Next one is from Twitter, and it's from Neil. Is there? I've not heard this rumour, so when we're just sort of talking about the possibility and about the player himself. But is there any truth in the rumour we could see Lee Griffiths in on loan in January? Trophy emoji, trophy emoji, trophy emoji. Now, I've not heard this rumour myself, but what do you think of Lee's current situation at Celtic, not even on the bench yesterday, and would it be a smart move for Hibs? Stuart, start with yourself.
Yes, and I said it to the mates in the pub on Thursday night after being sitting here talking about the podcast. I think that he's not happy at Celtic. Lennon is not giving him a chance. And if he doesn't get any play, any time, I think he'll be wanting to go out on loan. And if he wants to go anywhere, it'll be Hibs.
Stephen?
Just echoing that again. It's all down to Celtic now. Obviously, there was issues after the McGinn thing, getting Allen back. So far, we'll get Griffiths back on loan. Big doubts over that. But obviously he's not getting into the squad, he's not getting the time. Lennon was an advocate for the mental health thing, saying that he would input Griffiths back into the squad, and he's not done so. Griffiths will be unhappy, and Hibs is the best place for him.
Well done, Stephen. 4 seconds to go. You timed that one a bit better. Right, okay. And finally, from Instagram, we have a question from Finn. Hopes for the future for the Hibees and reasonable goals for the rest of the season. What can we achieve? Stephen, do you want to start us off with this one? Go.
What can we achieve? We can achieve whatever we want to achieve, really. We can still push up to European places. It is early enough in the season, but that's me just being ambitious now. Kilmarnock game got us to a cup semi, so hopefully a good cup run in both cups, and European places are still possible, but Hecky needs to turn that around.
Sure.
Top 6 for me. I think that's been realistic. I don't see us getting into Europe unless we win in the next 4 or 5 games to get us going. And no losing. I think top 6, and I like the wee stat about Neil Lennon never won the League Cup as a manager with Celtic. That might give us, we maybe just get that wee slice of luck in the semi-final. Don't know. Hopefully.
Oh, that's bang on. Well done.
See, there you go. But see, I do that for a living, mate. I do this for a living.
That's what Stuart's got the timer in front of him.
No, I can't even see it, Steve.
Okay, quick fire now. So just sort of quick answers for these. We're going to start with Lawrence, who does occasional stuff for the website. So cheers for that, Lawrence, if you're listening. Was the result against Celtic a sign of better things to come or a fluke?
Fluke.
Oh, I think it's a wee bit of a fluke, yeah.
He's saying much better things to come. John Irvin, if you were had your way, would you sack Hecky right now? Yes or no? Go.
No.
Not now, since Saturday.
Right. So next question is from Stephen Bell. When do you think Hecky will realise his current formation and tactics aren't going to yield enough goals for us to win enough games?
Never.
I don't think I don't even think he's got the brains to work that one out.
I mean,
Hecky doesn't think there's a problem.
I think he's not daft. I mean, the thing is, he looks at the stats and see that we only had like 2 shots on target against Celtic, and our goal came from a deflection.
What are we, minus how many goals?
9 or something.
No, it's double figures now, 10 or 12.
Right. But majority of that is from the game at Ibrox. But anyway, we'll see if we'll see what kind of comes in the coming weeks. Mixu99 asks, given Whittaker's performance coming on in central defence, could he provide the cover we might want at defensive midfield that we've missed so much and allow Vela to move forward? Now, obviously, we talked about Hallberg playing in that role, but we need a squad depth and stuff. Could Whittaker offer more as a central defensive midfielder going forward?
Yes.
No, well, okay, Steve, you say no.
Steven's saying, what are you saying? Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you're saying no.
No, I think he's a
Just
defender.
quickly,
He's a defender.
Right, fair enough. So these are some questions from Instagram now, so unfortunately I don't see the names, but somebody's asking, have you got a season ticket, and if you do, where do you sit? I mean, I've had one for Christ, how old am I? 19 years now or something, and I sit in the East now, besides Stephen. So questions here.
Where do you sit? Beside Stephen.
We've already covered Dave's question. Stuart has asked, is Kevin Clancy incompetent or cheat? And why is the standard of refereeing so bad in this country? Just quick answers. I know that's a hard one to answer quickly, but...
Cheat.
Stephen?
Cheat.
I'll go for incompetent. I'm nice like that.
Oh, you always sit in the fence.
I'm not. I'm going for completely... That's not on the fence. That's going for an opinion. Incompetent.
Oh, right, okay.
Why do we never play 2 up front and have a go against teams... I mean, how many teams do?
Because we've got a basketball player up front. That's it.
Stephen, why do we not play 2 up top?
Hecky.
I mean, it's in that. How many teams in the league play 2 up top? I mean, Hearts done it against St Mirren. Didn't really work that well for them. Who plays 2 up top? Celtic play 1 up top. Rangers play 1 up top. Majority of teams in England play 1 up top. Why should we be any different?
Aye, but they play a different formation though.
Some saying Lennon played 2 up top.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah,
There was a lot of time where Simon Murray was playing up top on his own, or Stokes was playing up top on his own. So
that was before we got Canberra and McLaren up front.
It was 6 months. Lennon was in charge for 2.5 years.
Yeah, but Lennon used to play the two of them when everything was going fine. Right. We used to have 2 up top all the time, and if it wasn't McLaren, they used to play Boiler sitting behind, which was just about 2 up top, and he used to be running in behind Canberra because he was getting the flicks.
Next question we've got here is, who do you think will be the man that will replace Paul Heckenbottom? I mean, there was an article, somebody asked us to talk about the fact the link with Jack Ross, but I mean, Jack Ross is employed by Sunderland and Paul Heckenbottom's employed by Hibs, so I mean, I don't think we should really be talking about who the replacement is.
We're not. I've spoken it already. We're not witch hunting anyone. We're wanting Hecky to do well. We're Hibs fans, so to actually say who would take over is crazy.
Are you going to Hampden? So, question for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds so exciting, Stephen. Come on, surely performance against Celtic yesterday gives you a wee bit of hope.
Yeah.
Are you sure you never phoned Reverend I Am Jolly? Come on, Steve.
Going forward, is George a better option with his work rate in the last 2 games? I'd maybe say he's maybe a better option in terms of what Hecky's trying to do, but in terms of work rate, I think it's a myth, this whole thing about Flo's work rate. I think he's got a brilliant engine, a brilliant work rate.
They need to play the 2 of them together. None of them can play a lone striker, and we've seen that because there's been no goals when they played up front themselves.
Correct.
I've seen promising signs. I think against a team that isn't Celtic would create more chances, especially with Allen just drop off him and getting that free roll. And I think if you're going to play, you can't play 2 up top and give Allen a free roll. So I think you've got to go one way or the other.
You can't play 3-5-2.
But then you've got to get Alan to come and do more work in the midfield. But anyway, we've talked about this to death, so we're not talking about 3-5-2 again.
3-5-2.
No, this week anyway. Do you think Hibs will get through against Celtic? And opinions on Paul Hickenbottom. We spoke about Paul Hickenbottom quite a bit, but this is the last question to finish up. Are Hibs going to hit the final?
We've got a chance, and because we're there. And that's not being stupid, just because we have got a chance, and because Neil Lennon and that stat has never won that cup. He might get to the final but get beat from, say, Rangers, but he's never won it, so I think we've got a wee chance.
Treble's got to end somewhere. Stephen, are we going to the final?
Let's be honest, Stuart, Rangers are never going to win a cup.
You're right.
Brilliant. Are we going to the final, Stephen?
I'd like to think we get there.
Yeah, we're going to the final. Let's get excited. Anyway, we'll be back next Monday, kind of looking back at the Aberdeen game, and we'll have to try and think of something exciting to do because it's going to be the international break. We'll find something to fill out the podcast.
Just Stephen, didn't go to the Scotland games, mate.
I know. We're already out. It doesn't matter now.
Right, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on social media at HFC Talk. Like I said, we'll be back next Monday and we'll see you then.
Cheers.
Cheers.